That, my friends, is Brynjolf Skarsgård, my Nord character, Dragon Knight, on Elder Scrolls Online. Named him Brynjolf because of the dude from the Thieves Guild in Skyrim. Personally, one of my favorite characters in the game. Can't wait to see him remastered in the special edition of Skyrim. Coming out October 28th, I believe. And Skarsgård because if you watch Vikings like me, Floki is played by Gustav Skarsgård. And I absolutely, positively love Floki. One of the better characters on that show. But anyway, footage on the screen is Elder Scrolls Online. I am playing Elder Scrolls Online because it is supposed to be getting a 4K support patch when the PS4 Pro comes out, though this video is about the Xbox One S. So, ESO is getting a 4K patch for consoles. It's just not for the Xbox One S, and I'll get to that later. The Xbox One S, as a whole, yes, it's smaller than the Xbox One, 40% smaller, I believe they said at E3. Its power source, this is the most interesting thing to me, the power source. The power source to anyone who owns an Xbox One is that big fucking clunky box that sits behind your Xbox. It's about, I want to say, one-sixth as big as the console as a whole, which is goddamn ridiculous if you ask me. Sorry, I got the burps. Every time. I swear to God, it never fails. But the power source in the Xbox One S is actually inside the console. So, as far as I know, you just plug in the cable. You don't have to plug the power source into, like, an extension cord or the outlet, and then plug another cable into that power source, and then plug that same cable into the Xbox. No. You just need one cable, as far as I can tell, that plugs straight into the Xbox. Right around where the power source is, which is in the back right-hand corner. It can stand vertically, which the Xbox One, I don't think it can. People may have attempted it, I personally wouldn't. But the Xbox One S can stand vertically. It has its own unique stand for it. Though you're going to have to pay extra for that. I believe it's $20. It also has a 2TB hard drive. Now, that was a limited run as far as I can tell. And they have sold out of the 2TB hard drive versions. The only way to get one now, as far as I know, they're sold out. They might make more. If they're smart, they probably will, because, Microsoft being Microsoft, they want the money. But for right now, the 2TB hard drive versions of the console have sold out, except for the Gears of War 4 limited edition, special collector's edition, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It comes with a Xbox One S, which is decaled in shades of the game. It's got the reds, the blacks, it's got a cog symbol on there somewhere, I believe. It comes with its own special controller that's also color schemed with the game. That is a 2TB hard drive. I don't think they're sold out of those editions, so you still might be able to get your hands on that if you desperately want the 2TB hard drive. It has 4K Ultra HD and HDR. The problem with the 4K Ultra HD, yes, it's better than 1080p, which in a fancy way just means it has more pixels. It's better than 1080p, but I've read in several things that the Xbox One S cannot play games in 4K. It doesn't have the hardware capable of rendering games in 4K. Which is kind of funny, because even in the commercial for the Xbox One S, it's saying 4K gaming. Though I've read in places, see, it conflicts. No, it may or may not have 4K gaming. We'll see when it comes out. But I've read in places that it does not support 4K gaming because it just can't render it. It does, however, do support 4K movies and TV shows. And HDR, which is high dynamic range, is a fancy way of saying it makes colors more vibrant and more realistic to the human eye. It's closer to what we see as human beings compared to the pixelated shit on your TV. It has a wider range of colors in the spectrum, so to speak. That's just a fancy way of saying all that shit. Now, the pros to the Xbox One S is it's the same price as the current gen Xbox One. You know, that big fucking paperweight that is the Xbox One right now. Its power source is inside the console, which means it's limited with wires. It's tighter. You don't need as much room for the fucking thing because you don't have the outside power source, which is huge. It's smaller and can stand vertically, which means the console itself takes up less space, if that's important to you. It runs certain games smoother. It might not be as taxing on your console. Me personally, playing my Xbox One, if I play MMOs, it sounds like it's stroking out eventually. Like it gets hot to the touch, and it's got that really heavy whirring sound. It's pretty bad. And that's every time I play an MMO, whether it be ESO or Neverwinter, which is free to play. I believe it even did it with that really shitty MMO Onigiri, which was also free to play. It does have a new controller, if that's super important to you. It has the bumpy grips on the back where you put your hands. And it does have 2 terabytes of space. But again, you know, that's one specific console, and the generic versions they sold out of. Right now, they might produce more because Microsoft wants money, but the base vanilla white version is sold out as of now. As I said before, you could probably still get the Gears of War Special Edition console, which is 2 terabytes. But as for the white one, I believe it's sold out completely right now. The cons to it, however, are why I'm saying it's probably not in your best interest to buy the console right now. The Scorpio comes out next year. Literally next year. In a year's time, the Scorpio, which will come out, and excuse me, and it is supported with 4K. When the Scorpio comes out, it will have 4K gaming. Guaranteed, without a doubt. Which is what they're promising right now. You know, things could change with development, but the Scorpio literally comes out within a year. Do you really want to spend $300 for a new console when the Scorpio, albeit it might be more expensive because it's supposed to be Microsoft's version of a PC console? Do you really want to spend $300 now for the S when Scorpio is literally coming out within a year? The media for 4K is very limited right now to legitimize the purchase. There's very few shows and movies out in 4K. Now, obviously, that's going to change over time, but as of right now, it's very limited. Very limited in what you would get for 4K. It can't run games in 4K, and not only that, well, that's a speculation, because I've read in other places that it can't run games in 4K, yet Microsoft is saying that it can run games in 4K. So, confliction there, but we'll see when it comes out. But not only that, you would need to buy a new 4K TV to take advantage of the 4K in movies and TV. And not only that, you would need a new HDMI cord, which would be like a 2.0, HDMI 2.0, for the 4K. I'm assuming that comes with the console, but anyone that doesn't use the one that comes with the console would have to buy an HDMI 2.0 cord to support 4K. And you would need a new 4K TV, because 1080p won't do it. And going back to the Scorpio, it is so close to the Xbox One S's release date. And ultimately, the Scorpio could be a way better console in terms of sheer gaming alone. Because the Scorpio is supposed to be Microsoft's version of the PC killer. You know, Sony is promising that the PS4 Pro is going to be their console PC, so to speak, whereas Microsoft is promising that the Scorpio is going to be their console PC. And I believe, in my own thinking, I'm seeing like a console that sits on your desk and you can open up the shell and take out bits and pieces of it, and like, I don't know, the CPU or whatever the fuck is inside. Without getting too technical, you could take out the parts inside, and Microsoft over time will release new upgraded parts like a video card or processor or what have you, and you can physically be able to easily, and they might have tutorials on the internet at some time about it, where you can take apart your console much like someone who pieces together their own PC. You would be able to take apart the Scorpio and put in the upgraded new parts that would give you better graphics, better sound, better quality overall. That's what I'm seeing in my head. That's probably that's probably reaching a bit, but the way they're talking about the Scorpio, that's the way I see it in my head, but we'll just have to see when it comes out. In conclusion, do I think the Xbox One S is worth your money this year? Because a lot of people, you know, they're strapped for cash, much like me. I understand the struggle, and believe me, the struggle is fucking real. Do I believe that the Xbox One S is worth your investment this year? If you're a gaming dude and you're like ultra high into tech and stuff, and you've got the cash to burn, by all means, go right ahead. But if you're strapped for cash and you're debating on the Xbox One S or the Scorpio, just wait for the Scorpio. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you later.